Here's what nobody tells you about buying a small business. My name is Jacob. I'm a former mortgage-backed security trader turned entrepreneur, and in 2024, I bought a flooring business. So what will nobody tell you about buying a small business? Number one is you almost definitely won't make as much money as you hope. You see the profit numbers listed on business brokerage sites. You should assume that your take home is going to be about half of that minus taxes. This is because things primarily like debt and growth take money. Even if you buy something that, let's say, has $1 million of EBITDA or net income, you're still gonna take home less than probably $250,000 because the reinvestment, the taxes, the inventory that you have to accrue, all add up at the end of the day. Number two, the downside is real. Most small businesses are acquired using an SBA loan, which has a personal guarantee. That means if something goes wrong and you don't pay your loan, you're going bankrupt. The bank is gonna call that note, which basically means you need to come up with a balance. If you're buying something that has more than $500,000 of EBITDA or net income, that typically means your note is going to be over $1 million. If you don't have it, you declare bankruptcy. If you don't believe me, search for Acquiring Minds and look through all of the episodes of people that have acquired businesses and have gone wrong. Number three, the typical upside is better in a lot of other industries. You buy a small business, let's say one that's making $500,000 in EBITDA for the sake of consistency. You grow it by 10% a year and you hold it for 5 years. Maybe you'll make $150,000 a year and $1 million on the sale. That is not super great considering you likely could go into tech, you could go get an MBA, and you could be making, let's say, $150,000 plus a year, reinvesting that money and that extra time into things like building a rental portfolio or building up a side skill set or starting a side business. If you have a small business that you own, almost all your time is going to be taken up with that business and growing that one opportunity. And you won't have time or money to diversify into other things and build a more stable base. On this point, if you're a really high performer and your other opportunity is to go get an MBA, out of that MBA program, you'll typically make $250,000 or so a year, maybe more, and it's gonna be much more stable. So would you rather have $250,000 a year, almost guaranteed, you still have to work that job, to travel the world, let's say you're a consultant, or would you rather have the possibility of going bankrupt? The fourth thing nobody will tell you about buying a small business is there's a reason most businesses are small. Imagine the 65-year-old guy that has one retail store, maybe it's woodworking, it could be flooring, maybe it's concrete, you name it. There's a reason he only has one. He definitely has a client base after 40 years to go and grow. That is real, but in order to do that, he's gonna hate his life. He's probably already taking home $300,000 a year, not the number that you would be because you have debt. And in order to grow, he has to reinvest a lot of that money into opening a new location, hiring new staff, finding new customers, and that is really painful. So imagine doing that for one store, reinvesting your hard-earned money, hiring new staff, finding new customers, basically starting a new business alongside the business you're currently running. And then in order to really grow, you need to do that about once every 6 months for the next 5 years to have a really good outcome. Here's the fifth thing nobody will tell you about buying a small business. The best case upside is actually better than you would think. In the best case, let's stick with that 500,000 EBITDA example. You open a new location every 6 months for 5 years. After 5 years, that means you have 9 or 10 locations. If you can get each one to 250 or 300,000 in EBITDA on average, closing in on a $12 million business valuation at that size. That means that if you still have $1 million of debt from your original acquisition, you could net about $10 million over 5 years. Obviously that's an extreme outlier, but people have done that. And if you go and do that, then the world's your oyster. You can raise more money, you can go and acquire more businesses. You don't have to be the guy that's answering the phone every day anymore. And hell, at $10 million, you can live off probably $250,000 a year relatively easily and never have to work again. It's that outsized chance at a crazy return that a lot of us business buyers are searching for. If you've liked this content, be sure to subscribe, keep following along, and thanks for watching.